Hello everyone, how are you all?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Okay, so let's start. So this is me, Shwani Kumari, cybersecurity researcher. So let's forward and there's an important notice. So all the content which will be shared throughout the bootcamp is strictly for educational purpose and lies under the code of conduct of GD Jalandhar. So I request all the participants to follow the code of conduct seriously, and neither me nor GD Jalandhar will be responsible for any damage or harm caused by the participants. So yeah, moving forward. So this is the agenda, and today we are uh, going to have some practical session or hands-on session. So let's move forward. Okay. So I have a question for you. How many of you have got invitation from HackerOne CTF, the Postbook Challenge? Okay, there are so many, almost everyone. Okay, nice. And okay, so how many of you from Gemini? Okay, cool. So how many of you are interested in sensitive data exposure vulnerability? Okay, okay. So and okay, so how many of you know about sensitive data exposure vulnerability? Like it was already explained in the previous session. So, um, how many of you, you know what is sensitive data exposure? You can respond in chat box. Okay, okay, Rahul. Uh, you know or you don't know? Rahul and Pratham. Okay, okay. So, I know. Okay, so do you like to explain yourself? Yeah, personal data of a person, and personal data is like the bank details, password, credentials. I don't know what it is. That is. Yeah, just you have to know what is the vulnerability, what is the sensitive data, and just API keys. Yeah. Okay. So let me share my screen and show you some based sensitive data exposure.
Yeah, meanwhile, you perform that. Let me answer a few questions. So, people over here, uh, okay, so Soumya Jyoti Sen is asking what to do after getting invitation. So, that is an invitation for you. Do not share about that program in public. And if you find a flaw in it, right? Because for each program, there are some set of users defined. So, if you got McKinsey company and they ask you to pen test their services or find a bug in their services, so you can imagine, because it is a private program, they might have hardly like maybe 100 or else maybe 150 candidates in their program, so that they can find a flaw. And if you don't find a flaw in some time, right, maybe a month or two, uh, you can reject that. Or I don't remember whether you have a option to reject that invitation or not, or else I guess there's an option to accept that invitation. And once you do it, if you don't get the flow, they might give you another invitation and deprecate that older invitation for you. So if you get a flaw, just try to make the impact by trying to report it. And for, yes,
Yes. Bro, where can we find the private invites?
okay, you'll receive an email.
Yeah, in email.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
continue.
Okay. So I have downloaded the Share It application APK file. This is a replicated app, so that's why I chose this application just to show you how to find sensitive data using Android file. So after downloaded the APK file, let's decompile it. You can go for APK tool as well. I'm just using this com. So let's wait for decompile. Okay, so let's download the zip file. So okay, wait for down. Okay, so it's downloaded. So let's unzip this file, and there will be a two folder. First one is resources, and the other one is I guess source file. And yes, there is no security issue with the Share It application. So don't try to, exploit it or find vulnerability. I'm just showing you the path, like how to find sensitive data in APK files. Okay, it's done. Let's open in VS Code. Okay, wait. Okay, so yeah. So the path is, in the source folder, when I unzip the file, so there are two folders, resources and sources. Go to the resources and then res. Let me comment. Yeah. Can anybody confirm me about is it visible or not by unmuting yourself? So yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Uh, so there are two folders, sources and resources. So go to the resources folder and then res. And in res, find the value folder. And in this, go for strings. So most of the sensitive data like API keys and all, you will be finding, you can find it anywhere, any file, but mostly it will be in strings. So let's find for API key, API. Okay, so there's one Google API key. And Google API key is, it's a free, anyone can use it. So there's no use of, reporting the Google API key. So yeah, there are two: Google crashing reporting API key, this one, and the first one is Google API key. So whenever you can, you decompile the APK file. So go for API or API key, or just search some sensitive data, and if you find in any file, you can you can find this in here. So it will show you the result in all the files. Like it will show you in resources, place services, auth, API, phone dot properties. So it will show you in all the files. So go for API keys or something like that. So from this, you can report sending the vulnerability. And if the API key is paid one, if the API key is like the Google API key or Google caching, so it's a free API key, so there's no use of reporting. So this was all about the path. Let me write it on the chat box, uh, where you can find the API resources. Then go to this and value and strings.xml. Uh, you can find in every file, not only in strings.xml. So yeah. And yes, how many of you have completed the postbook challenge, or how many how many of you have doubts or stuck somewhere and you are not able to understand what to do? Invitation for hackers means hell मुझे okay, there's a lots of messages. Completed. Good. Pratham, which application? Is it shared application? Okay. Uh, I have shared the path. You can try on that path, like the and then res folder and then values and strings.xml. You can find the API keys. How to identify whether the API key is paid or free? So the API key, which is the free API keys are like the Google, which provides services for free, and other ones are paid, like Google is your best friend. Okay, sir. Okay, so let me share my screen. Yeah, AWS API is paid. Okay, so now we have some bug bounty tips. So for sensitive data exposure, you can perform a git recon to find secret data or the API keys, like how I explain you. First, you have to download the APK file and then decompile it with APK tool or the online decompilers. Then go for the API keys, find the API keys. Sometimes you can find tokens which will be used for sensitive data. So it will also give you the sensitive data, like your credentials or some other data. So then we have hard coded credentials. So sometimes you can find the vulnerabilities by Google. So you will be good in Google Document. Like there are yesterday Bhaskar has explained the Google Docs, like how the for finding the um, sensitive data, like if I want to perform SQL injection, like Google Docs, like in title, if you want to find the admin page, so in title admin.php or something like that, so, or inside um, PHP or the login page login.php, so something like that. And then we have try to access your own sensitive data and search for some or for some parameters or ID to change it. And yeah, idol is always your best friend. So I hope idol is clear to all, but I've already explained this in the previous session. Um, yeah, okay. Okay, there's a big yes. So, so yeah, we have more tips. Don't directly find vulnerabilities in main domain and finding some flaws in its subdomain. So let's suppose only. Okay, so let's suppose you have found vulnerabilities in google.com. Okay, and so don't try to find directly in google.com. Let's try for meet.google.com, photos.google.com, the subdomain parts. And how many of you know list subdomains of a website? Like there's a tool, sublister. Yeah. So you can search for subdomain by using sublister tool. DNS. Yeah, I never tried. Let's search. Okay, it's a Kali Linux tool. Okay, so yeah, and don't report after you get a flaw. Don't be in hurry. Like vulnerability, don't directly report to the firm or any other person. Let's for before reporting the vulnerability, try to find some other the business logic vulnerabilities. In simple language, when one simple vulnerability which has no impact, if it gets mixed kind of or mixed kind of thing with other vulnerability, then it will create a big impact on that application. So don't be in hurry. So and chaining of bugs, chaining of bugs, yeah. So keeping an so we have the last point. So we have last point, keeping an eye on developers tool. So how many of you know the developers tool? Know about the developer tools of your browser? F12. Okay, there's a hint. You have already used that developer tools. Inspect, yes, inspect element, control shift and I. So yeah. So there's a network tab and application tab over under the if you have noticed. So sometimes you can find some sensitive data or some others data over there. So let's let okay. So do we have Mr. Bhaskar among?
Mr. Bhaskar
So
is
yeah,
over here.
you can explain about
Okay.
the developers.
Yeah. I was about to.
Okay.
So yeah, I have seen I'm seeing in the chat section, right? Someone has written Burbsid. I don't know why. Yeah,
It's a tool. It's a
Soumya
tool.
Jyoti, right? Yeah, it is something different for now. Still, there are few people, for example, Bharat Agarwal, right, who don't even need burp suite for doing bug hunting stuff. Because this this developer tools are very good. They have most of the things, and if you're really, yeah.
अरे वो रिसेंटली भरत ने जो एक वल्नरेबिलिटी फाइंड किया था इंस्पेक्ट एलिमेंट में आई गेस एप्लीकेशन टैब के अंदर
क्या किया था वो?
रिमेम्बर
Oh yeah. Let's not discuss about that now. Yeah. Okay. So, Shivani, can you stop sharing your screen?
ओके
Yeah. Give me a minute.
बर्ब नहीं बर्ब सेट चाहिए होता है लेकिन डेवलपर्स टूल्स अलग ही है वो अलग है
Hmm. Yeah. So, people who don't have burp suite, right, or else are feeling lazy to open burp suite, developer tools is a good thing for you. But yeah, network intercept नहीं कर पाओगे. But you can always modify the request and send it to the server using JavaScript. So let me share my screen once and we'll do cool stuffs. Let me know once my screen is visible. I hope.
या
Yep.
इट्स विजिबल
So over here, for example, मैं अभी simple यही page में हूँ, right? If I right click, open inspect. अच्छा ये अभी तक है मेरे पास edit this cookie. Does it work? I'm not sure because it was very like it was back then in like 2019, I guess. Yep. So over here you can see elements, right? And then you know about this. Then console.
जूम जूम इन कर लो बस
या वो जरूरी नहीं है वैसे भी, फिर भी दिखा दे, चलो ठीक है. Index is a JavaScript tab. A is equal to 1 डालो, B is equal to 2 डालो, भाई 3 डालो जो भी है. A plus B डालो, खेलो. Right. So leave this, and then in source, right, this is link which you might be interested in. See this page, it's fine. You go to inspect element, right? You look at these pages, for example, over here somewhere src new tab page.js, right? Of course, this is not a website now. This is a browser's native page, but still, you can see over here in sources everything that page.js, just what we have seen over here, right? So मैं वही चीज अभी यहाँ पे दिखा रहा हूँ. You can see the whole code. ये कोड अभी ऐसा है. It is not looking fine. Beautify it, right? And then you can use it. If you're really good at JavaScript, you can do wonders. Fine. And yep, यहाँ पे कुछ compile codes भी रहते हैं. You can also sometimes change it, right? Of course, I'm not going to do that. Over here, I'll tell you something regarding this as well in a bit, and then let's talk about network. So अभी मैं कौन सा website खोलूँ? Let me open that uh, test PHP. करते हैं. PHP बहुत हो गया. ASP. Okay. So over here, Control Shift I. Now once I reload it, right? See, inject. I guess this is because of some of my Chrome extension. It is injecting some. It is using inject.js to grab all the some data from the browser itself. So this is a pretty good vaporizer. You can see that yes, this is a ASP.NET website. So it is written ASP. This website is using a server which is IIS, Microsoft IIS server, Windows server basically, version 8.5. If you get an updated version with some vulnerability, you can report that website and get something, right? But still, आजकल वर्जन्स के लिए कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है. सर्वर वर्जन्स डिस्क्लोजर के लिए कुछ मिल नहीं रहा है बेसिकली. बट यप, स्टिल इट इज अ गुड थिंग. You can use these when we perform server auditing or some security testing, right? We have people who are professional in cybersecurity working in. What they have to do is they have to make sure that even small and minute flaw should be reported. So even if for example someone is using jQuery 2, right? I'm going to say that if it is possible, please update it. Let's not use the deprecated version. Fine. So this is what this tool does very intelligently. It collects the data and shows you in a single page. How to get it? Simply type Vaporizer Chrome. Fine. You'll get this chrome.google.com. Look at the link properly. It should not be something else. And then, yep, I'm not going to remove it. Oh God, these many users. Okay. So over here, let me click on this thing. Fine. Click here. You can see these requests have been fetched, or else some assets have been fetched. You can name them assets. Env, this is an environment basically, right? And then some logo.js. What is this? Let's click. Okay, ये तो logo है. Fine. CSS file. You can see the CSS file. यहाँ पे warning आ गया. This form is okay over here itself. It's written. So SQL injection. Whenever we see a parameter, apostrophe, right? I hope it will give some error. Okay, it gives server error directly. Okay, server error is सीधा दे रहा है, SQL error दे नहीं रहा है. But still, you can exploit it using a tool which is very famous in Kali Linux, which is SQL Map. You will find a number of tutorials. Again, I'm not going to show this in today's session. It'll be a bit lame. Let me. Okay, there are many YouTube channels who actually case of it. You just need to enter the URL and hit enter. That's it. It'll enumerate everything for you. Let me close it. Okay, बहुत कुछ आ गया. Fine. Over here, for example, size. Okay, Reddit में एक बार देखता हूँ. Let me go to inspect element. Let me go to network. this means if it is red, it is red. It started recording something and it went on to many pages. So you can see over here, for example, this question mark, right? What does this question mark mean? This is a get parameter. Let me click on it. Okay, it did not load anything. Okay, about.json. It is saying some data. Okay, this is the preview. These are the network headers. Whenever we click on something, right, it basically sends a request to the server. So these are the request headers and these are the response headers. Fine. You can see the responses properly over here. And then you can see something. This is not really that needed, but still it'll give you some path within the web browser. And then timings, how much time did it take to load. This is for the performance testing, and then cookies is over here. So I'm not going to show my cookie, but yeah, over here you can see EY, right? Then you can estimate that yes, this is a JWT token. Let me show what JWT token is. JWT token. So JSON Web Tokens. I really like this token because it is really hard to exploit it. If they're using some good amount of SHA 256 kind of thing. Fine. Okay. So I wanted to explain these things, and one of the attendees, I don't remember the name again. I'm really bad at remembering the names. You can wait, just one. We have 48 members, right? So I guess someone might be over here. That person has found some kind of idle files by looking at inspect element. So he was attendee of our TechDrill itself. So I'm really glad that he is doing something. And then, yep. Let me start burp again. कहाँ गया? Yep.
Bhaskar,
Yeah.
can you check
Just a
your
minute. Just
WhatsApp?
a minute. Okay. So let me show this. Hacker CTF बंद करो अभी. So for now, what I'm going to show is test PHP for now. User info. Okay. And I'm not sure whether I've shown force or how to find something like rate limiting for new people. Did I show it? I'm not able to remember it. Can anyone in the chat box say that? First of all, I don't say that. So I was asking that yeah, over here Pratham has done a really great job. So you can get hold of all these extensions basically, right? Uh, it is really tough for me to remember each and every small thing and describing it over here. So yeah, so does anyone over here need some guidance on how to brute force login pages or how to get rate limiting kind of vulnerabilities? Is anyone over here? Okay, there are few people who don't need. There are few people who don't need.
Everyone.
Okay, there are few people who don't need. Okay, so
Okay.
quickly, I won't take much time. It'll hardly take 2 minutes, I guess. Um, Let me turn on the burp and then hit admin and then admin. Fine. Over here again, let me inspect element. Its type is equal to password, right? Let me add it as text. Even if I type anything else, it is going to take. Yeah, admin, right? Now let me click on login. It has sent. Fine. Magnifier. ज़्यादा zoom हो गया. Yep. You can see the packet over here, right? So this is just basics of burp 101, you can say it like that. Right click, right click and send it to repeater. Also send it to intruder. Fine. Let me go to repeater, maximize this. See, this is the request, right? Let me zoom in. This is the request tab, this is the response tab. So let me send this and wait for response. It's saying login. It says you must login. Fine. If I enter here PASS, right? Send. It says found, but again you must login. No, no positive response. Over here I should get okay. Fine. It is 302 found. Means they have found something on the server. Might be the developers what they might have do is whenever you enter a wrong credentials, they fetch this message, right? And this message is found in this server. This is why they are sending this request over here. Fine. So let's leave about this and let's enter actual credentials, which is test and test, right? I guess it's written over here. Kahan gaya? Yep, it's written test and test. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send it. You can see it says found, and then the whole page it has loaded me. A TechDrill students. Okay, cool. अरे अब क्या बचा है, जान लोगे, बच्चे की जान लोगे. Okay, so let me what can we do is let me go to intruder, right? So you got the use case of repeater, right? We can manually change the data, change the inputs and test it time by time. Now what I'm going to do, let's go to intruder. Let me zoom in. It says because I've sent that this request to intruder, right? I'm going to intruder. It says I'm not going to configure this, I'm not going to use HTTPS. Go to positions. Over here in positions, what did it took? In admin it has added $2 symbols. Again in admin it has added $2 symbols. Fine. Intelligently it has added it. But again, for example, let me take that it already knows what sorry, I already know what the username is. So it has cleared everything. I'm going to select only password, the password area, the value, right? And I'm going to add. Got it, right? I have only added this portion. Then think it this way, variable, and everything is going to be static. This thing is going to be changed. And attack type, you can keep it as sniper, right? Then go to payloads. Don't click on start attack over here, right? That is go to payload. And yeah, sorry, over here it is not admin, it is test because I'm just assuming that I know the username. Usually you'll know the username of a victim, right? So over here I have mentioned test and then simple list. Fine. And then over here, because I don't have a pro version right now, it is a community edition. I'm not going to purchase it just to show in TechDrill. And we use pro version only in the company, not over here. So let me enter simple passwords, some fake passwords, right? Some numbers. And then let me enter actual. Okay, why is it always starting with D? My fingers are only over D. Okay, so let's enter password now. Test. Fine. Now after that, some other junk values. Okay, some other junk values. Fine. Now I have a word list. And if can a person add too much of word list, right? Then let me show one thing for you. It is known as rocku.txt. If you are using Kali Linux, it will be by default in your system, or else you can directly download it from GitHub. Okay, it is 133 MB. I'm not going to download it. So So it has mostly all the passwords you will ever need, all the major passwords or all the you might have seen in news, right? There have been a data breach or something like that, right? And if the passwords are being leaked, they simply add it in few word lists, rocky.txt. Okay, let me download it once. Okay, let me click again. हो जाए 10 सेकंड ही लगेगा. Meanwhile, it is being downloaded. Okay, can we add password name via copy paste? Yes, I guess you can add it via copy paste, but still, there are a few other tools as well to brute. One of them is Hydra. Someone has mentioned it earlier. Yeah, Jatin, right? Yep. Let me open it in the folder and then right click, open in notepad. It is going to take some time. Yeah. So these are very uh, generic passwords. I don't know who keeps password as monkey. Keep something like Angel Priya, Baby Girl, or these kind of words, right? So these are generic passwords which usually people keep, and you can see the number of lines. Okay, number of lines. Like what is this number? One thousand, lakh, 10 lakh, almost 1.4 crores. So these many passwords are there over here, and you can search randomly. So let me search uh, area 51. So see, area 51 is available over here, right? So generically, they might password over here, and yep, most of the passwords are there in this file. You can use it. Let me start the attack, right? You understood till here, right? I guess you can give a try. Let me copy few. It's not opening like this. Ah, too much of wait time. Let me open in notepad again. Yep. Let me copy these many and try to paste. If it works, then great. Okay, एक ही बार में paste हो रहा है क्या? It pasted in a single time. I guess at something like
Paste karo, direct paste.
You can use the
Direct
okay,
paste.
load
direct
button.
paste. Okay, it
Uh,
works. Fine, fine, fine. So it's working fine. So it's working on 35. So there are total 35
I guess
payloads
we can
over
use
here.
load button.
Sorry,
I guess we can use load option,
load option.
Load option is for loading file.
and we can upload it
Yeah, we
file, I
can do it
guess.
directly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, then why is this over here? I'm not sure. Add from list. I'm not sure. Again, okay. Let's start attack. And we have community edition, right? So what is this attack? Eventually, it slows down after some attempts. Fine. So if you have a pro edition, of course, it is going to be very fast. Like 35 seconds to take less than 10 to 15 seconds. So over here, let me click on one response and one result and check the request and response. It says you must log in, right? So the length of this whole thing is 235. But whenever the password is correct, the length is going to increase, obviously, right? See, over here, response is this. Test is the correct password, right? You can see the response. The length. How can you do it? Just simply click on length. You can see, okay, so the password is test. So this is how you can brute force passwords. And again, if you are able to brute force, it also comes under no rate limiting, because it will limit you after 10 or 15 tries. Fine. So this is what you can give two shots at a time. No rate limiting, causing brute force attack. Maybe you can add it like that, like account takeover using brute force attack because due to no rate limiting, something like that. Just improve the quality by adding n number of flaws in that, right? Okay, discard. I hope you got what I was saying. Let me come back to this. Yeah.
आई थिंक रेट लिमिट फ्लो के लिए हमें टाइम फ्रेम भी सेट करना पड़ता है इसमें, बिकॉज अगर हम रेगुलरली विद इन अ सेकेंड रिक्वेस्ट सेंड करेंगे तो इट
See,
बिकम लाइक
again, it depends on the server, right? Sometimes if you send multiple times, right, then obviously it is going to perform kind of a DDoS. Then for that, you will have to use something like a cron job or else for the cooldown, maybe sleep 1 second or sleep 0.5 seconds, something like that. So these kind of things, they're possible in Hydra and also in Burp Pro, right? And
लाइक
I'm
थ्रॉटल.
yeah, yep. So another thing, uh, in rate limiting, right? Just forget about dosing the server because it is not going to DOS just by a single person's attempt. अगर हो गया सोचो, just imagine that application goes down for a second. Try accessing from a different IP address, maybe your phone with your mobile data and not from your Wi-Fi, right? Just take it as account that that web server is not allowing you to access the web server, but it is giving the possibility to others. Fine. So there are few tools like IP Rotator. It is a plugin within Burp Suite. I guess I have it. I'm not sure. Let me see user options. Sorry, in extend, I guess. Okay, it I guess BA store. Okay, IP rotate. You can see over here, right? It is free and you can download it. It is essential. And then you can perform IP rotate. So for this, I guess you will need some AWS access keys. You need to enter it and then it'll basically change your IP on every few requests. And that is how you can bypass that IP address blockage as well for performing node rate limiting, basically. So again, coming to
You can also use
yeah, OS wrap also works fine, but I personally prefer like using burp. It is more efficient for me. Fine. Let me OS find vulnerability directly on putting malicious files. Fine. But again, मजा उसी में आएगा जब खुद effectively काम करोगे, right? Okay. So another thing, just giving you a heads up. We will have a last day tomorrow of the tech drill, and make sure you are present tomorrow in the session. Fine, because we are going to give some task. Again, people who have been with us and week 1 and week 2, you know how the task is. If you have attended the sessions, it is going to be a piece of cake. Fine. So yes, there'll be a task for you guys, and once you complete it, you'll earn your certificate. Fine. And task will be given tomorrow. It won't be given today. Fine. And tomorrow we'll be having kind of a ping. We'll be solving all the doubts, and people who were reaching out to me throughout the weekend, throughout this week, right? Really sorry, guys. I was not available all the time. It is really a hectic week for me. Doing my certification side by side along with my office work and then tech drill. It was a bit clumsy for me. Fine. So I'll respond everyone who have contacted me in in my tomorrow or tomorrow evening basically. Fine. So don't worry about that, and yeah, all the best. Okay, will everyone get a certificate? Yes, once you exam, right, you will get the certificate.
Once you complete
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
task.
Sorry, task.
Yeah.
ये वहाँ से quote of the day, ये JavaScript
ये
console
JavaScript
है. You
equals to
said exactly like that, right? So okay, uh, so we can end the session, right? Yep. So
yeah.
casual talks.